And I was thinking, just everyone leave everyone alone. Like, everyone has to have an opinion on everything these days. Yeah, for sure. I go to a lot of gigs and I go to a lot of festivals and of artists that I like. And there's a jealousy to see those artists, you know, with their fans that I've grown. I love playing gigs. I love going around the world, even outside like the radio stations and stuff, and seeing people that listen to the music all the time. So it's good to be back, put it that way. The first year was probably spent doing nothing, like everybody. And then I just kind of sat down one day, wrote The Show, which is the title track to the album. And then I felt like, right, it's time to, I feel like I've got it in me now to accumulate some songs and make an album that I'm really proud of. Actually, it took me a while to get to that point, but once I got there and the world opened up and we were able to get back in the studio, it all just kind of went then. You know, I was able to get in the room with the people that I work with and finish some of these ideas and start new ones. Yeah, it's definitely a much more clearer outlook. Generally, as I've been saying, it's quite like a storyline driven songwriter and very specific scenarios I will go into detail on. Whereas this album is a bit more larger world, bigger thought process. God only knows where this could go, even if our love starts to go out of control. I think heaven's kind of like a metaphor for now. We have heaven. Like what we have feels like heaven. And if we crumble to the societal pressure, like then what we have won't be the same again. It'll be a broken piece of what we had. That's based. It's not like any sort of like mystical, you know, afterlife thing. It's more like what we have is good, and we shouldn't like just listen to everyone else and conform. We should do our own thing. I think Heaven is a good synopsis for the rest of the album, to be honest. All of the songs are kind of in the same kind of world as Heaven, and just live in the moment. Don't be worrying about the past. Can't think too much into the future. It's probably the most cliche thing of all time. And I think that's where I was kind of at when I was sitting down to write Heaven. It was kind of like, right, none of us know. There's no book. And I think the song that was coming to mind all the time was The Book of Love by Peter Gabriel. And I always use that as an idea. You know, it's like none of us know how to do this, whether it be love or life or whatever. So you just kind of have to roll with it. And I think that's proven by every other person that's lived. You just kind of, no one knows what's going to happen. So you just kind of have to roll with the punches and see what happens. Yeah, but 100%. And that's where I'm at in my life. You know, I'm happy with how things are going. So I think it's kind of like all right, what we have is really good here. Let's not ruin it by conforming to, as you say, social pressure. I think that's important. And I think it's very relatable to everyone, to be honest. There's a lot of milestones that feel like they need to be hit by certain times in your life. You need to do your own thing. And I think that's not just for me. That can be said for anything. It could be for teenagers going to do this or going to college, or you have to do this by this age or you won't make 35. There is a bit of that. You have to do your own thing. And I think people are getting a bit more like that now. It's a bit more of a free kind of world. I just think when I get to, like, I'm 29. When you get to this age, it's kind of like, oh, you know, there's a lot of that. The clock start for various things, just generally. Like I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking, just everyone leave everyone alone. Like everyone has to have an opinion on everything these days. So the idea of you just kind of standing up for yourself and going, listen, I'll do whatever I want when I want, is kind of a good thing, I guess. Obviously, there are certain things that you keep close, you know, in your life, and they're special. And sometimes you don't feel the need to want to talk about it, or whatever. But yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of relatability in what I'm saying. It's not just about me. I feel like we're all in kind of the same boat in different parts of our lives. And I think that's probably what the best thing about, we all say it, again, another one of these cliches, where the best thing about songwriting is that people can attach themselves and something in their life to what you're talking about. And I think that's where I stand on that. Yeah. It's been I guess kind of full circle type stuff to start in a show and then be a coach on that on a similar show 12, 13 years later is nuts. But the empathy that I have for the people who are standing in front of me, it's a good thing to have in a show like this. I'm not ruthless. I understand how these people feel when they get up there, and I have their future in my hands. And I can really relate to a lot of the people. I've got for instance, I've got like a 15-year-old on my team. Like this guy is like me when I was starting. So I can really understand exactly how he feels. He's a lot more talented than I was at 15, but you have that empathy with them and that conversation with them, and it makes for good TV and good relationships. Well, yeah, I've just been having a good time with it. I thought it was going to be like really overproduced. I thought I was going to be told what to do, when to do, and it's very much get into the chair, press the button whenever you feel, and I've really enjoyed it. It's going to be a good season.